Okay, folks, so I think we're going to get started, and if anyone else joins us, they could just come on as we're beginning here. So welcome everybody. My name is Samantha and I work on the events team here at Algonquin College. If you've never been to one of our events before, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. We host a bunch of free student events. If you saw my email, I hope that everyone received all their knitting supplies, and if you haven't received them yet, you should be receiving them very shortly. So before I hand the floor over to Sarah from Craft Jam to start our workshop today, I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping items. So like I mentioned, the AC Hub hosts a variety of student workshops and events free for all students. So please feel free to take a look at our other events. I'll share a link to our calendar in the chat in a couple moments here. We have lots of things from crafting to dog workshops to everything in between. We have so many things. So definitely check out our events calendar. To stay connected to the Algonquin College community, please be sure to tune into our live events and also feel free to connect in the chat. We want you guys to make friends and to connect with the community. So please reach out to people in the chat, make friends. That's what we're here for. Today's event is equipped with closed captioning. If you need it, you can press the CC icon along the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. And this event is being recorded and will be available to watch on the AC Hub on-demand website in the coming days. All right, folks, so before we get started, I'm just going to quickly introduce you to Sarah from Craft Jam. She is a very experienced crafter, and I've personally never knitted before, so I'm very excited to do this today. I've got my yarn, I've got my needles, and I've got my little darning needle here, and I'm really excited. So if you would like to keep your camera on to show off your knitting skills, or if you want to turn it off if you're feeling shy, do whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, Sarah, so I think that's all I had to say. Did you want to start and take it away?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Samantha, for that intro. Welcome, everyone. Like Samantha said, my name is Sarah Messina. I'm a Jam Master for Craft Jam. That's what we call all our teachers at Craft Jam. And you guys are all jammers today. So thank you for being here. Craft Jam is all about community, self-care, and learning something new. So you should be proud that you showed up for yourself to learn this new skill. And I'm very excited to go over it with you. I did see a quick question in the chat. It's all for beginners, no experience. Yeah, so like Samantha said, no experience necessary. And I'll let you know everything that we're gonna go over today. I'm a freelance artist and designer. I live in Philadelphia. I have been crafting for pretty much my whole life. So teaching for Craft Jam is a dream. I teach all sorts of classes for Craft Jam, everything from needle felting to knitting to watercolor painting, all kinds of stuff in between. So today's class is going to be really fun. I love questions and interaction, so please feel free to ask me anything as we go. I think knitting can be a little intimidating at first, and it is a little bit, can feel a little funky to hold the two needles together once you're starting the looping, but I promise once you get in the mode of everything that it's going to feel really natural as you're going. So we're going to go over Slipknot, casting on, the actual stitch called the knitting stitch, which is this lovely little fun stitch that you see here. I just did this quick example so that you guys could sort of see the stitch that we're going to go over today. And then we're going to go over casting off, and then using our this other small needle that we have, stitch needle here, how to wrap up the end of our headband, which is what we'll be making today, and sewing it up so it's one full piece that you'll be able to put on your head. As we go through, I sort of want you to use your discretion in terms of how wide you want your headband to be, and also how long. Everybody's is going to be different. So I do about 8 to 10 cast-ons, and I'll go over that in just a second. And that's going to help me determine how wide my piece is going to be. And then as we're going through, I don't know if everyone can see me over here. It's you don't, just for this 1 second, but if everyone can see me. So then you're gonna, as you go through, you're just gonna place it on your head and see, you know, the thickness, and also, I'm just gonna pull this out for a second, and see how it's sort of, the length is going for you as well. So again, everybody's is going to be a different size because we're all different. So no way is right or wrong. I want you to make it as it is good for you. Any questions so far? No? Is everyone excited?
What if we don't have like the needle?
Don't worry about not having the needle. Even if I show you how to stitch up the end, you can always get a needle at a later time. It's not going to hinder the project for today. So you can always get it later on. And it's really a simple just sew stitch at the end. So you can always get it later if you need to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so everybody's got their knitting needles. And I'm just going to cut this part off. So everybody's got their knitting needles and their yarn. That's all we need to start. And we're gonna first go over a slip knot. Again, if you feel that you need me to go over something again, please do not hesitate to ask. Sometimes it is better to see it another time, but I am gonna try to go through each step twice in the moment so that you can feel that you are good with how we're moving along. I do like to check in a lot because we are virtual. And again, just making sure everyone feels comfortable with what they're making today. Okay, so I've got my yarn here and it's a pretty good thickness. Using thicker yarn can be a bit easier for beginners, and I do like to use a little bit of a thicker yarn. I would even like a thicker yarn than this, but this one is pretty good. And yes, Samantha put the headband instructions in the chat. There is a PDF there if you want to check that out as we're going. So anyway, so this is my yarn, and everybody should have their pieces in front of you. And I am just using one knitting needle at the moment. So first, before I even start with the needle, we're gonna do a slip knot. And I like to have a long tail at the end. This tail is what is going to help us close up our headband towards the end of the project. So I like to have more rather than less because you can always take away if it's too long. So I do about little over 10 inches just as a tail to start off with. And just keep it attached to your actual ball of yarn. And at one point of the string here, so the end is this way, I'm just gonna put that to the side, we're gonna make our slip knot. And how we do that is I pull it sort of taut, and then I just push it together, and it sort of just loops organically once I hold it taut. So I'm just gonna do that again. So I have it taut here, and I'm just gonna push it together, and it makes a nice little loop there. And once you've got this loop, I hold it, I pinch it right here where the two pieces of yarn come together. And I just bring this side, the left side of the yarn, right behind the loop here so that it's sort of in the middle of my loop. And I just take that and I push it through that loop, and then I pull it and it makes my slip knot. So I'm just gonna go over that one more time. So I pull it taut, push it together, bring the piece behind, actually, sorry, hold on one second. So taut, bring it together so that the left side is over top of the right piece here. And then I'm going to bring the piece behind, so it's sort of poking through, and I'm just gonna take it with my thumb, pull it through, and then pull it taut. I leave my thumb in the middle here because I really want to make sure that my needle is able to go through. So you want to make sure there's enough space. So I sort of just leave it thumb size at the moment. Does that make sense for everyone? I can do it again. Should I do it again? Do it again, right? Okay, okay. So I'm just going to pull this through. So hold it taut, and you're just going to push it together. And you want to make sure that this right side that's in your right hand is over top of the string that's on your left side. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, the other way around. The left side is on top of the right side. Okay? And then you're going to bring the string around the back, and pull it through. And again, I like to put it around my thumb when I pull it taut. Does everyone want to hold up their slip knots? I want to make sure everyone has it that has their camera on. Perfect, 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 perfect. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I just want to move this over a little bit. Okay, great. So now that we have our slip knot, I like to hold it on my thumb and then just start to pull it a little bit, and then we're gonna put it right on our needle, just like this. And then you can start to pull it even tighter so that it attaches to your needle really nicely, really tight, not too tight. You still want to be able to move it a little bit. Sometimes when I started off knitting, I would do things a little too tight and it makes it a little bit harder to kind of work. So you want it to be snug, but you still want to be able to move it. Okay, so now we're going to start something called casting on. And casting on is going to build out the length of our headband and our stitches here. So whether you were making a headband or you're making a scarf or something of that nature, this is going to help you with the width of your piece. And the way we cast on is we're going to loop around our piece here from the right side, and we're going to slip in our thumb. So I'm going to do that again. And the tail of our piece is on the right side. Okay, so we're going to take the tail of our piece and we're going to loop it around our needle, and we're going to hold it taut with our thumb. So it should be like this. And we're going to take our needle and we're going to loop it underneath the thumb part. So you should have it crisscross like this.
Wait, can you do again, please?
Yes. Hold on one second. My camera's a little blurry. Hold on one second. Okay. So yeah, so we've got the tail of our piece on our left side, and we're going to take it and we're going to take our hand like this and wrap that around our thumb. I'll do that one more time. So we've got the tail of our piece and we're going to hold our hand out like this and we're going to wrap it around our thumb. And once we've done that, you're going to take the tip of your needle and you're just going to go right in between where your thumb and that piece of yarn is. And you're going to loop it onto your needle. And then with the piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, you're going to take that and you're going to loop it right at the top of your needle, just like that. So you sort of got this thumb here and the one piece wrapped around the top. And this is where the cast on portion really happens for us. So this part that your thumb is around, you're going to take this and you're going to flip it on top of your needle and you're going to pull it down and then you're going to pull it tight. And that's your first cast on. I'm going to do that again for everyone. Did everybody, some people get that? Do you kind of feel what happened there? So it sort of looks like this. And this, with building your cast ons, you're starting to build on your stitches that we're going to build off of for the actual knitting piece. Okay. So I'm going to do that again. I have to get a little more length here. Okay. So we've got our tail. I like to call this our tail. So we've got our tail here. We've got our hand. And we're going to loop our thumb onto our tail there. And we're going to take our needle and right in between the piece of yarn and your thumb, you're going to loop it through. So you've sort of created this loop around your needle. And then you're going to take your piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn and you're going to loop it at the top of the needle. And then take the piece that you looped around your thumb and put it over and then pull it tight. And you've got your third cast on. So you're going to continue to do this until you get about 10 casts on. And I just want to go over it again. And I want to make sure everyone's understanding. So let me know if anyone is not. Okay.
Wait,
So
what do you mean by the tail? Like which end?
so the end that you made with your Slipknot, the end that is not attached to your ball of yarn.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's your tail. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my piece of yarn in front of my hand and I'm gonna loop it around my thumb. And where the piece of yarn is with my thumb, I'm going to just slip the top of my needle through that piece right there. And then this piece that's attached to the ball of yarn, you want to add that now by wrapping it around the tip of your needle. And then the part that's around your thumb, you're going to take that and slip it off and slip it over top of the point of your needle there. And then you're going to pull tight. And that's another cast on. And that's also another piece of your knitting that we're going to get in there and build off of. So cast on about 10 pieces. Steph just asked, how many do you cast on? Cast on about 8 or 10 pieces. Again, the more you cast on, the wider your piece is going to be. So kind of determine how wide you want your headband to be. I did about 8 when I was knitting this before. So that pretty worked for me. You can always take a cast on off, just, if you want to just take one off just like this, if you think that it's going to be too wide. So I'm going to go over that again, wrapping the tail around my thumb, needle through my yarn on my thumb, yarn around the top, yarn looped around the top, and then pull tight. And you can move them down a little bit once you really start to get going and building them. And you can always count your pieces by going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've got 5 on here. Again, be patient with yourself. This can feel a little wonky, like I was saying, as we start. Does everyone want to hold up their cast-ons? I want to make sure everyone's looking good. Looking good. Oh, wow. Yeah, looks great, guys. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, does anyone have any questions so far? Feel free to ask. No question is a bad question. Want to make sure you.
I had a question. How tight should they be?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I have them pretty tight, but I'm still able to move them a little bit up and down the needle. They feel snug, but I'm still able to kind of adjust them if need be. I have a small head. Do you think 8 will be okay? Yes, I think 8 will be just fine. Mm-hmm. And even if you wanted to do maybe 6, you could do that too. But 8 is about a good average range. Whoever asked about how tight, was that good? Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, great. Yes, do the cast on again for sure. Okay, so I've got the tail of my yarn here, the piece that's the end that's not connected to the ball of yarn. And I grab it in my hand and I loop this piece around my thumb. And then I take my needle and right where this piece of yarn and my thumb is, I'm going right where it kind of crisscrosses, I'm going to put my needle through and hold it there. So I've just kind of looped it over. The piece that's attached to the ball of yarn, you're gonna take that and you're gonna wrap it around the tip of your knitting needle. So you've got these two things happening here. And the part that's around your thumb, I take it off my thumb and I just loop it over top of the tip of the knitting needle. And then I just pull tight. And that's the cast on. Jennifer, let me know if that worked for you. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm gonna do one more cast on. Yes, no problem. Okay, so I've got my yarn here, the end tail that I call it, and I wrap it around my thumb. Take the tip of my needle and I put it through that piece that's on top of my thumb. And I'm still holding it pretty taut on this side. And then I take the other side that's attached to the ball of yarn. I loop that around the tip of the needle. And then I take the loop that's around my thumb and I just bring it over top of the tip of the needle and then pull tight. Got it. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so I think I've got 8 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got about 8. I'm gonna do 10. Definitely feel free to do 10 if you want yours to be just a little bit longer or wider, excuse me. Okay, so now we've got our cast on. This is super important to learn while knitting because now we're going to be able to actually start knitting and building off of this piece of that we've casted on. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our second needle now, and we're going to start to actually learn the knitting stitch, which is a very basic knitting stitch that you get to make when it looks like this, which I think is really kind of like a very lovely stitch, and love that it's very basic and very easy to do. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your second needle here, and the whole method of this is we're gonna be switching sort of back and forth, and you're gonna see what I mean once we really get through these first 8 to 10 cast-ons that we've got here. So I want to bring this up close so you guys can see. So see in between, this is the cast on, and see where it loops right here against the knitting needle. We're going to take our second knitting needle and we're just going to nudge it right into that loop there of that cast on. So I'm just going to do that again, and I have it sort of loose now. That first cast on that you did, you're going to take your knitting needle and you're going to wiggle it through just like that so that you've got them both sort of connected now. And then you're going to take your yarn and you're going to loop it over the piece of the needle that has all your cast-ons. And I'm just going to pull this a little bit tighter. This is just a little too loose. And what you're basically going to do is you're going to take this loop that's on this needle and you're going to bring it over to this needle. And this is the switch back and forth that I was talking about. So you're going to take this side of the right side knitting needle that you have, and you're going to very carefully, and again, this can feel a little wonky when you're first starting, you're going to take the tip and you're going to go underneath. I'm gonna go right underneath this loop here and then bring it up and over and then pull tight. Oops. Sorry guys, hold on. It's a little bit, I'm trying to do it really high up so you guys can see, and I'm losing my grip here. So hold on, let me cast on again. Okay. I'm going to take my knitting needle and I'm going to shove it through that little hole there. I'm going to take the end of my yarn and I'm going to wrap it around the left-hand needle. And right where this loop is, I'm going to take the end of my needle and I'm going to come underneath. And then I'm going to take the top and pull it over so that it now lives on the other side. Let me get my tail here out of the way. And then pull tight. So you're basically building the pieces onto the other side. And I'm going to go over that one more time. The first one, like I said, can be a little bit wonky because it's so tight. But once we get going, you'll be able to really see it kind of come together. Okay, so I'm going to pull that tight. Great. So now you're going to go and do that again. So we're going to slip through the second cast on, take your yarn, come over the second knitting needle, come down a little bit, loop through, up and around. I'm going to do that again. Okay. So taking your knitting needle, coming through the cast on, so it's like this. Taking your yarn, looping it over the right knitting needle, coming down a little bit, and that loop that's on the left side, you're going to take that and bring it over the top of the needle and onto the right hand needle, and then pull tight. And you're going to start to see your stitch happen on this side. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing that so that you guys can see what I mean. Does everyone see that happening? I'm going to do it again. Okay, so take your knitting needle, the end of the needle, come through one of your cast ons. You should be on like the third one now. So it looks like this. Take your end of your yarn here that's attached to the ball of yarn, wrap it around the top of the right needle. So it looks like this. And see this hole here in between these two needles? You're going to take the right needle down, come through that cast on loop and bring it over the top of the left needle and then onto the second. So again, you're bringing one side to the other, and that's how you're going to start to see the pattern form on the right side. And then we're going to switch and we're going to go back and forth. Okay, can everyone let me know if they're seeing that properly? I know it's a little bit difficult on video, so I want to make sure it's making sense.
Sorry, I'm a bit behind. So is this how the first thing's supposed to look like?
Yes, the cast on looks good. Yep, no problem. So I'm going to continue down here. So it's the same thing even if you start at the top. Again, you're going to come through the tip of your needle. You're going to come through that first cast on, or whichever cast on you're working now. So it looks like this. You're sort of just like poking it through. And the piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, you're going to take that and you're going to wrap it around the top of the right hand needle. So it looks like this. And right in between here is where you're going to bring down your right hand needle so it comes through this loop, and it'll bring this loop over top and onto the right hand needle. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to move my needle down a little bit, come through the loop. Oops, slipped off, hold on. come down and through this loop here. And then move your pieces up and bring it over the top of the left-hand needle and then back down. And you should start to see this braid-like stitch, I like to call it a braid-like stitch, on this side of the needle. Okay, Steph said it makes sense. I want to make sure that's making sense for everyone else. And once, you know, doing it slow can kind of make you feel like it's not working, but once you get into the groove of it, it'll feel like second nature. And it did take me a while to practice getting the hang of feeling like it was second nature in that way. So again, going through, wrapping around.
Could you repeat it again?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Okay, so I've got my last cast on here. And you're going to take your needle and put it through the right hand needle. You're going to put through, yeah, so when you have it done, it's going to start to look like this on the end.
No, I mean the whole thing.
The whole headband? I'm sorry, who was asking? Okay, let me know when you come back on. Okay, so I put it through that cast on there. Take my right hand, which has the piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, and I'm wrapping that around the top of the needle of the right hand side. And then I move it down just a little bit because I want the right handed needle to come through this loop that's between the left and the right hand needle right here in the middle. I want the tip to come between that. And then I move that up and I loop it over onto the right hand side. Just like that. So basically you're moving your cast-ons and your stitches from each side, and that's what's gonna help build it. How many rows do we knit? So basically you just knit as many rows as, are you, Steph, are you saying like for the whole thing? Yeah, okay, so you're gonna go as long as you want your headband to be. So basically you just keep going with this stitch on either side for as long as you want your headband to be. So I'm going to show you what it would be now to flip it over. So I'm gonna just do this last stitch here. And again, this is called the knitting stitch. So you guys just learned the knitting stitch, which is great. So when you get done, your left hand needle should be completely empty and the right hand needle should have all your stitches on it, just like this. And I like to pull it a little bit taut at the top, and you can start to see that first row right there. Okay, does everybody see that? I want to give everyone a minute in case they are catching up. Steph, did that answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay, so now this is what I meant by switching back and forth. So now we've got our yarn in our left hand again, and our right hand is going to have the empty needle, and we're gonna start all over. So I'm gonna take my needle and I'm gonna slip it through that first loop there. I like to use just the tip because it helps it get right in there tightly. You're going to take your right hand side piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn. You're going to wrap it at the top. And again, seeing that sort of hole in the middle there, that's where the tip of the right hand needle is going to come down, slip through there, and then you're going to move that all the way to the top and off of the left hand side needle, and you just did another knit stitch. And this is basically all it is. It's this continuously between both sides to help build your headband. And we just go back and forth. Again, you're going to start to really feel the momentum of the movements with the needles and the yarn. And you're going to get really comfortable with how it all starts to feel.
Could you do it one more time slowly?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I've got that first hole there, that first stitch right here that's up against the left hand needle. And I'm going to take my right hand needle with the tip and just slip it through that first loop there. And then the end of my yarn, the string of my yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, you're going to take that and you're going to loop it around the top of the right hand needle. So it looks like this. And again, you can see that sort of hole in the middle between the two. And this is where it does get a little tricky. You're going to move it down. I'm going to move this down a little bit. You're going to move the right hand needle down a little bit. And right where that hole is, you're going to take the tip of your needle and you're going to put the tip of your needle through that little hole there. So it should look something like this. And you're going to take the rest of that loop that's on the left-hand side, and you're going to loop it over the left-hand side needle and bring it over to the right-hand side. And that's what brings it over to create another row for you. Okay, so it is a little bit tricky at first. Does anybody feel pretty good about it? I want to know how everyone's doing. Are you feeling the method of it?
Sorry, I just got a little behind, so I just finished my first this one, and I just started this one.
Oh, okay, the cast on?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, let me just finish this row and then I'm gonna go back to where you are gonna start, and then you'll be able to begin there, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So Olivia, I saw that you feel good. Looks like you're going. Renee, how do you feel? Are you getting it? So sometimes this happens to me. I don't know if it's happened to anyone else. Do you see how sometimes your needle can go through your yarn actual piece? You got to be careful about that. So if that happens, just bring it back out and make sure that you're able to lift off the loop fully, and that it's not through the actual yarn, because you don't want that to happen. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Can you say your name for me? Is it?
B, yeah, you can call me B.
Okay, yeah, okay. Awesome, we're gonna start. Okay, V, so see where your cast-ons are that you just did down here. And then you're gonna begin to build out stitches, basically. So this first one, I'm gonna move it over. See the little loop between the needle and the yarn? So you're gonna take your right hand needle here and you're just gonna slip that through that first cast on there, just a little bit at the top. And then you're gonna hold that in place just like that. And then you're gonna take the piece that's attached to the ball of yarn and you're gonna wrap it around the right hand side tip of the needle at the top there.
You mean the tail?
No, the part that's attached to the ball of yarn.
Okay.
Yeah, leave your tail out of the way, guys. So I'm gonna do that again. So we put it through that first loop that you did on the cast on. And I'm gonna take this piece that's attached to the ball of yarn and I'm gonna wrap it around the top of the right-hand side needle. So it looks like this. And I've sort of really opened this up. See this hole that this loop hole that you've created in the middle of these two needles? You're gonna bring your right-hand side needle down a little bit and you're gonna take the tip of the right-hand side needle and put that through the loop that's on the left-hand side needle. And then you're gonna bring it up to the top of the left-hand side needle and you're gonna take it off and you basically put a stitch on the right side. I'm gonna do that again. So through that piece that's up against, that second piece that's up against the needle on the left side, take the right side, wrap the piece of yarn at the top of the right-hand side needle, bring down the right-hand side needle through the loop that's on the left side. So I want to try to show you right underneath there. And then once you've done that, you've sort of got this twist happening. And once you've done that, you're gonna bring that piece all the way to the top of the left-hand side needle. And it's gonna come off and it's going to build on the other side. Okay, Samantha, you're finally getting, yeah. How's everybody doing? Okay, Steph is good. Olivia shook her head. Okay, yeah, okay, great. Again, guys, this is the first time you're doing this, so probably will, yeah, that's totally fine. Think of this as this is a practice piece, you know, and you can always take it apart and start again. I've done that tons of times, and it is a little bit hard to see sometimes as we're dealing with these smaller holes and stitches along our needles. But I'm hoping that you're getting the hang of this knit stitch. And it's becoming a little bit of second nature as you continue to go. Try to keep your piece as tightly as you can, not too tight where you can't maneuver the needles, but tight enough where it feels like the piece is really keeping together nicely. So you're gonna start to see this happening. One side, you're building stitches on the right side, you're taking stitches off the left side, and you're gonna start to really see an actual bit of the headband starting to come together due to the knit stitch that you're creating. Okay, so going through, looping up around, bringing the right side needle down through the left loop, and then taking that off the left side and bringing it to the right side. And just continuously doing that. Please feel free to let me know if it still doesn't make sense. Don't be shy, don't worry. again, it can feel a little wonky holding these two needles together. Sometimes I wish I would have gotten some smaller needles. I have about 11 size needles. I mean, these are great for a really, really thick yarn. I would have liked something a little bit smaller for this particular project, but it all ends up working well once you get into the groove. There are different styles of knitting. There's an English style and a continental style. Craft Jam, we teach English style. So that's what you're building as well. So I don't know if you guys can see how this end is really starting to build, because I've switched sides twice now. So I've got row 1, well, this is really row 1, and then row 2. And now I'll switch over again. Back into my left hand. Empty right hand side needle. And starting at the top where my first cast on was, I'm gonna put my right hand side needle right through that cast on, loop my piece of yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, loop it around and inside the right hand side needle, bring it down through that loop on the left needle, and then bring that up and around off of the left needle and onto the right needle. And allow your fingers to help you at times. Sometimes I use my fingers to help me control what's going on. So I'll loop around the right and keeping it pretty taut at the top. My thumb can help me open up that loop that I need to go through on the left-hand side needle. And then I let my thumb sort of pick off and bring it over to the right-hand side. So you'll start to see that kind of happening once you get more comfortable with the stitch. My grandmother was a knitter and she would do this so fast. I could not even believe it watching her. She made all kinds of scarves all the time, but it was like mesmerizing how quickly she was able to maneuver the needles. I'm not as quick as she was at all. But it was crazy how she was able to do it. And I guess, you know, as you continue on, just like with anything, it'll become second nature to you. That's how I am. I needle felt more than I do anything. And that has become second nature as well. Yeah, has anybody knitted before or? Oh, Steph, nice. Awesome. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, my mom crochets. Straight lines only, yeah. Steph, I would love if there was a needle felting workshop one day. I can teach you guys all kinds of stuff with needle felting. I'm actually making, I have 2 years there. Oh, I'm so glad, Olivia. Olivia said this is a nice refresher for her. Very soothing. It's so soothing, right? I know. I was building the example for us today and I like lost track of time. I was like, I need to get back on email. What am I doing? So needle felting, yeah, needle felting is so fun. What has been your longest time consuming project ever? With knitting or with crafting in general? That's a good question. Knitting. It really all depends. If I'm building a really big scarf, then that's gonna just be something that I come back to as often as possible, It just really depends how long you want the piece to be. I don't know. It's a really hard question to answer, I guess. I guess a couple weeks if I'm coming back to a scarf and not doing it obviously all in one sitting. Yeah, it depends. This can be a really nice, relaxing thing that you do for yourself at the end of the day. If you want to put on a show that you're binging and kind of just sit there and knit. I do that sometimes. I do that with needle felting too, where I don't really need to pay attention to a show that I've maybe seen before, and I kind of just needle felt or knit or work on any kind of craft. So definitely stop for a moment when you are building a few more rows and take a look at the piece that the rows that you've built so far. If you feel like a few are loose, that's okay. Just pull tight and continue on. It'll all even out. And you can definitely, again, always start over and go back, but this is really great practice as we're continuing here. Just gonna leave that for a second. Sorry, I have a 16-year-old dachshund, and she got stuck in a little corner there. Sometimes she loses her way. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Is anybody confused? Anybody struggling? Definitely let me know so we can get you feeling good and on the right track.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you said the video is recording, right? I mean, this Zoom session is recording, right?
Yes.
And where will it be posted?
Oh, Samantha, that's a question for Samantha.
Yeah, so it's going to be posted on the AC Hub on demand website, but it takes a couple of days for us to edit it and then post it. So it should be up sometime later this week.
Sounds good, thank you.
And I'll send the link to that in the chat right now. And sorry, everyone, I didn't mean to just send what there. It just accidentally typed, so I'm sorry. But you folks are doing so well. I'm so impressed.
Yes.
Good job, everyone. Keep it up.
Yes.
I meant to ask Sarah, instead of just typing what is your dog's name?
Oh, what is my dog's name?
Yeah.
Her name is Stella.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yes, she's a dapple dachshund. She's 16 and a half now, actually.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
she's a wiener dog, like
She's
a dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those. They're so
Yeah.
cute.
She's a tiny one. And yeah, and she's been with me for this whole time. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's hanging in. She just started to have some health issues, but she is a trooper, and she's very, very stubborn and sassy, and she can be very, very sweet, and she loves cheese and carrots and chicken and kibble and all that kind of thing. So she is living her best life.
That's amazing. Does anyone else have a pet or a dog? I would love to see dogs or hear about your dogs.
Yes, crafting and pets is like huge for Craft Jam. There's always animals or people talking about pets, which is great.
I think Renee is getting her cat. Oh, is that a cat, Renee? Oh my gosh, I love cats. I'm such a cat person.
Oh my God, look.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, beautiful.
So beautiful. We love it. What's her name, Renee? Or his name?
His name is Flurry.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Flurry.
Hi.
He's very weird. He loves me holding him upside down.
He's very long. He's huge.
Come here. They want to actually see you.
I feel like male cats sometimes are a little bit more affectionate. I had a male cat. He was very affectionate. But I feel like it depends on the cat for sure. We have Emma, who has a 15-year-old golden retriever. That's amazing. I call them gentle giants. They're so cute. And then Steph has a cat. She made an appearance behind her a while ago. Nice. Chihuahua. Kelsey has a Chihuahua back home. She lasted 17 years, passed away this year. Her name is Stephanie. Sorry, I didn't name her. That's a long, wonderful life. That's so amazing. Very, very sweet. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm very grateful to have Stella for as long as I had and have. So yeah, it's really nice. I was teaching a needle felting class and there was a big dog that came in and ended up taking all of the jammer's wool off the table and trying to eat it. So they definitely love to participate, and kitty cats always get really curious about supplies and what's going on. Okay. So by now you should really start to see your piece building. And hopefully feeling more comfortable moving the yarn from needle to needle. And really working with the knitting stitch. So I love variegated pieces of yarn, so that can always be really fun too. I chose this gold color. I don't know, I've been very attracted to this goldish color at the moment. So I chose this. So I'm just taking a second to kind of tug on the end where my tail is, and I just want to make sure things are feeling tight and at a good length. So this is really great. I love how square it's becoming for the end of my headband. And yeah, I'm just going to keep building. Does anybody else do any other crafts? I love hearing when people do different crafts.
I do finger crochet for blankets.
Nice. I love that. Do you like crocheting? Yeah. Okay. So what do you like? Oh, candle making, sewing. Nice. That's awesome. I love candle making too. And I always love sewing. So Renee, so with that type of crochet, do you like the feel of crochet or knitting better?
Probably crochet.
Probably crochet. Right. Is this your first time knitting? Yeah. Yeah. I felt like that too. I feel like with knitting, sometimes I feel like I have a little bit more control. I'm not sure if that is just in my head, but my mom crochets and she crochets so quickly. But I love granny squares. They're like the cutest. Needle point. Want to learn how to crochet. So yeah, so oh, nice. So Jennifer, you just like collect patterns, like make a board on Pinterest. I love doing that, and just like different activities and stuff. So on Craft Jam's site, we do have a ton of different classes, and we do have a granny square class. That is really great, especially great for beginners. And like I said, needle felting, embroidery, which is really popular, macrame, watercolor. There's a fun watercolor class. It's a Zodiac watercolor class, and we use a specific, thanks Samantha for putting Craft Jam's site in. We use a specific type of watercolor method, and we build out like galaxy skies. We talk about the moons. We talk about zodiac signs. I am teaching paper mache, as well as some other needle felting classes that are holiday based. So that means that they're Halloween, or they'll be for like winter season, which will be really fun. I also do ceramics. So I'm gonna start to teach air dry clay classes, which are really fun and great. And I teach how to hand build with clay. The one that's on the site now is jewelry dish making, which is really fun. And anybody that wants to get, yeah, Steph, definitely check it out. I've been doing ceramics for a few years now, and I'm a hand builder. I don't use the wheel. I just gravitated to hand building. I don't know, I felt like I had a little bit more control, and I liked kind of building with my hands in that way. So you'll get to learn with air dried clay how to do that. And then if you ever go on to, maybe take some ceramic classes in a studio, you'll already know the basics of how to do that. So that's really fun. And then it's a 2-part class. We'll come back and we'll be able to paint our pieces together, different patterns if you are interested in something like that. They also make really great gifts. I don't know about anybody else, but I love when I can make something and then be able to give it to somebody or be able to use it for something. It kind of makes it feel really special. Okay, checking in with everyone. How are you doing? Ah, look at Steph showing hers. That looks great. Yeah, that looks amazing. You're quicker than me, girl. That's great. I love it. Very cool. How's everyone else doing? Olivia, how you doing? Looks good. Renee, how you doing? Susan. Renee, do you need help? Tell me.
A few nuts kept falling off when I tried to transfer it all the way over, so I just been keep restarting.
Okay. That's totally fine. The restarting will just help you get that practice in more as well. So definitely let me know if the transferring over the stitch is coming about a little bit better, okay? Here to help if you need it. Susan, are you participating? Or are you just here to hang out?
I'm just here to hang out. I work with Sam. I just wanted to come in and check out the workshop. It looks great.
Okay, good. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, V, how are you doing? Just checking in on you.
I just returned my cast, so.
Okay. Listen, don't be discouraged if you have to go back and start over. It's okay. I've done that before because maybe something didn't feel right or it didn't land right. We all make mistakes, and honestly, I don't feel like it's mistakes. I feel like it's just practice. We're just continuously learning and getting comfortable with this particular stitch.
Yes.
Good. And the repetition, I do love the repetition. It's very soothing, like I think Olivia had said. So again, check in with your piece, make sure it's feeling tight enough, and rows are looking good. I also, yes, the repetition can feel good when you're getting kind of quick. Yeah, don't, exactly like Sam said, don't feel discouraged. This, I think crocheting and knitting can be definitely a harder craft. It is a it's been around obviously for so many years, but I do feel that it takes some time to get the hang of. So yeah, so don't feel discouraged at all. But Sam, you got the hang of it? As I'm looping through and creating this knit stitch, I am pulling once I get the stitch on the right-hand side, just to make sure that the stitches are feeling tight once I get over there. Because sometimes they can feel a little bit loose with all the moving back and forth. So again, coming through that first loop at the top, moving your needle down through the loop and then taking it off the left-hand side. And then I like to pull tight. This is a great winter craft too, especially when the days get really, really cold. Where is everybody located, by the way? I always like to know.
So Sarah, we're located, Algonquin College is located in Ottawa, Ontario, but we also have a couple of campuses like in Ontario, but in different cities around Ontario.
Oh, nice.
And then we also have a virtual campus. So
Amazing.
we have students from all over the world and lots of people are living here in Ottawa. And yeah, so Olivia's in Ottawa, Emma's in Barrie, Jennifer's in Ottawa.
That's amazing. I love that. I worked at a university for 10 years. I was an in-house designer and we always had
Oh, cool.
yeah, fun events for students as well.
Staff just asked, where are you from, Sarah?
Oh, I'm from Atlantic City, so South Jersey. Oops, spam call on my phone. Hold on, I just gotta reset it. So I'm originally from South Jersey, which is not, I feel like Jersey's broken up into like 3 parts. And I'm all the way down by Atlantic City and almost very close to Cape May, if anybody knows where Cape May is at. And now and then after that, I lived in Florida for about 2 years. And then I moved to Brooklyn and I lived in Brooklyn for 2 years. And then I now live in Philadelphia. So Kelsey, you're from Dominican Republic, but now in Ottawa, next to AC.
Yeah, living next to the college now.
Oh, very nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's nice to be close if you're not doing virtual, you know. That's also why I came back from, Brooklyn back to Philadelphia is only 45 minutes from my childhood home. So and also really love the art schools here and I'd like to finish my master's at some point. So it was time for a move and a change. I love New York. New York is so great, but good to try new places. I've always said that. If you can. That's awesome. You're from Dominican Republic. I bet it's absolutely gorgeous there. I've never been.
Thank you. You're welcome there. Yeah, I'm doing my class virtual, but I hope next semester will be in person. So
very nice.
Good to be close. Either way, this is a good area.
Yeah. Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It makes it nice and convenient.
Yeah, definitely.
How's everybody doing? Just checking in. Steph said apparently half of the classes will be in person next semester. Yeah, I feel like colleges are definitely feeling out what's working for sure. Yeah.
So folks, we're actually going to start doing some events on campus starting in October. So in a couple weeks, be sure to follow our Instagram pages because we've got a couple of events coming up on campus. And again, those are free for all students. So please check out our events calendar to keep up to date with those coming up.
Nice. Does anybody like the fall season? I love fall. I love Halloween, so I sort of love this time of year. It's fun. So just checking in with everyone, seeing how everyone's doing. Olivia, yeah, it's my favorite time of year too. Cozy times, yes, I know, I love it. It's the best. It's the best. And just like, I love the pumpkins and like, I don't know, I feel like food changes in the winter and fall too, and like more soups and cozy foods and stuff and coffees and teas and all that. Oh, Canadian Thanksgiving is this weekend. Oh, fun. That's awesome. Yeah, is anybody doing anything fun? Do you guys do like big meals and stuff like the States? Oh, fun. Kelsey's going to Toronto for the first time ever. That's awesome. I hear wonderful things about it there. I haven't been to Canada yet. It's one of the places I've been doing. So I hope you guys are seeing more of your pieces building. Just gonna Canada. So you can start to really see it coming together. So if you wanted to make a scarf, you would do the same thing that we're doing. You would just maybe add a few more cast-ons when you start so that it's a little bit wider for you. But if you wanted to do it with the knit stitch, you would continue to do it just as we're doing it now. And you do it as long as you wish for the scarf to be, if you were to build a scarf. What is everybody studying? I'm so curious. I love knowing people's majors. Business, nice. Good. Professional writing, I love that. Very cool. Childhood, love that. Nice, so many great things. X-ray, early childhood education. Wonderful, so nice. I graduated with a visual arts communication degree, so basically graphic design, and I did a lot of philosophy, Holocaust and genocide studies, as well as a lot of writing classes. It was a liberal arts college, so I was able to sort of create, you know, incorporate a lot of those things that brought interest to me and inspired my work as well. Okay, checking in on V and Renee and whoever else. Feeling good, getting there? Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes it just takes, when I first learned it was the same for me, so. Oops. I love that we are sitting here crafting together. So Craft Jam also has like craft circles, and you can sign up to basically hang out with other people doing a craft. Maybe it's something specific to the jam master that's leading the circle, or you can sort of bring your own craft that you kind of just wish to do to hang out. And, you know, it's also a way to meet new people too. So previously, Craft Jam was an in-person events in Manhattan. We had a studio in the Soho area, and you could book an event there, or you could just maybe after work or in the middle, you know, your day was ending and whatnot, you wanted to come and hang out and bring your wine or drinks or snacks and kind of learn something new and meet new people. So that was always really fun. But it's really amazing that we've been able to go completely virtual now and yeah, teach all over the world and not just in New York, which has been really amazing. So does everyone like how the knit stitch looks? I think it's really, really pretty stitch.
Sarah, I just finished my second shot here. So what should I do next?
I'm sorry, sweetie. What did you say you just finished?
I just finished the second shot right here.
Okay. So you took everything off the one side and brought it to the other?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now I'll show you. So I as well just finished. And so now your right hand needle is empty, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So now you're just going to do the same exact thing again. And you're going to start at the top and go through that first loop. Just like you've done.
So I just finished when I used the right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
So I transferred to the left hand side.
Exactly. Yep. And you just continue to do it all over again. So each time you do a stitch, it's going to end up in your right hand, and then you're going to get done and you're going to put it in your left hand and you're going to start again.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just going to continue to build those rows for yourself as you are doing that. So that is the knit stitch that you're building each time.
Okay, Zachary. Thank you.
Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course. Renee said, now that I'm getting hang of knitting and transferring over, I think I'll use the fuzzy yarn I bought and make scarf. Yeah, exactly. I know. Then it's really fun to like figure out what kind of yarn you want to use, because I love like fuzzy too, and I love like variegated, and I love the ones with like the speckle colors in it. Oh yeah, look at Renee's. That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. That's actually thicker too, and I think I love how that ends up looking. And I think that'll also feel like, I don't know, I like thicker yarn to build off of. It's a great idea. Yeah, like I said, any type of gift you can give with something that you've handmade is amazing and just priceless. So nice. I'm glad you feel good about it, Renee, and you got I feel like you got the hang of it. So I'm gonna put my info in the chat as well, in case anybody's interested. What color? Yeah, what colors? That's a great question. Jennifer said, what color did everybody get? I see Olivia's got this beautiful green. Ooh, Kara's got this beautiful teal. Renee's got
Nice job, guys. So we sent out 3 different colors. We sent out gray, we sent out like a tan-ish color, and we sent out an Algonquin colored green.
nice. Steph, that's a beautiful color too. Really nice for fall.
I see stuff
got
with
blue
the
too.
neutral color.
Oh, Jennifer got blue too. Nice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, folks.
Gosh, everybody's looks so good. I love
You guys are
it.
so good at this. You're so much better than me. Good job, everybody. Keep it up.
Yeah, I know it can. Yeah, it felt like, not sure at first, but I told you, I knew, believed in all of you that once you got the hang of it, it would be great. Really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna put my info in the chat. If anyone's ever interested in keeping in touch on Instagram or my website, you can take a look at that, and you can also learn a little bit more about me. And then I'll put in Craft Jam's handle as well. If you guys feel comfortable sharing your pieces and tagging Craft Jam, and I would love to. I love to repost my classes in my stories and show everybody how amazing everybody is in making their pieces. When anybody gets closer to the end, I mean, we have so much time, but I just want to prep you for, if you do feel that you finished today or you get close to the end, I will show you how to cast off, and then how to thread the tail into closing your headband. So because this is being recorded, I'm gonna be able to do that. Even though my piece won't be as long, I'll still show you how to do that, so that you have it here and you can always come back to it later on. But that's pretty much it. When you get close to the end, you just cast off, and then you create this really nice braided edge, and then you just sew the string end together to kind of close up the headband. Hope you're all feeling relaxed and happy to be doing something with your hands, happy to be doing something different, and crafting really helps with my anxieties. So I love that. Sometimes when I just need to get out of my brain for a while, it feels good to be able to do that. Also, towards the end, if anyone feels comfortable, you can hold up your project and we can take a screenshot of it. So you guys have that if you want. What's the weather there at the college location?
It's nice today.
Yeah.
Sunny and it's beautiful out. Usually we get colder weather starting like mid-October if we're lucky.
Mhm.
Sometimes it starts sooner than that, but this year I think it's supposed to be warmer into the fall. So fingers crossed.
Okay, nice.
But our winters tend to go from like late October, early November to like February or March. So March, if we're lucky, it ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
it's-
nice today though.
That's
It's about
great.
72 here today.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Nice. It's rainy here in Philadelphia today, but it's not like super nice weather. Nice, Kelsey said. But we've had nice days. It still can be a little bit warmer, and then but you can definitely feel fall creeping in for sure. Yeah, winters here, I feel like they definitely don't end in March. I feel like March is like a wild card. You can still even get snow here in March. Anybody wanted to take the headband like a step further, you could always sew on some sequins with some thread, and you would just sew them with some thread around the strands of yarn and kind of do like a regular sewing stitch through the hole of like a sequin, and then just tie it underneath, like cut it off and tie it underneath so you don't see the string, and that could be kind of fun. I know somebody said they like to sew. Oh, and Renee asked how Christmas shopping is going. So wait, when is Christmas for you guys? The same as us?
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh, okay.
It's
I know.
just Thanksgiving that's different.
Yeah, it is coming up so quickly. I was literally just saying that to my best friend today. I was like, because I will end up getting to see her. She doesn't live in this area.
Yeah,
It's crazy, right?
it's coming up so fast. I can't believe it's October already.
I know. Yeah, I can't either.
Insane.
So to answer Renee's question, I haven't done any. I need to start to think about it though. And yeah, my family, we don't like, we'll make little lists and such. But I feel like as time goes on, I mean, I want to be able to definitely give gifts and what somebody may need or whatever. but it's fun to like spoil the dogs the most. Dogs and kids, right? Or whoever's in your family, like cousins, nieces, nephews, whoever you've got, or the dogs, the pets. It's always fun watching them open their. We give them, my mom's dog and Stella, we give them wrapped bones and then they tear them apart Christmas morning, which is always fun. It's fun to watch. We cook a really big meal. I'm Italian, so we do 7 fishes. And then my mom makes her sauce and pasta on Christmas Day, which is delicious. And that's always really fun. Does anybody do like baking? I love to bake cookies. Cookies also. Oh yeah, brownies, yum. Love that. Even just cookies make a great gift for someone too. You put cookies in a fun Christmas tin and then put some Hershey's Kisses in there. My mom always used to do that, and then you can give it as gifts. Cute. Jennifer does lots of baking for the holidays and makes harasha and jellies. So wait, what do you mean? I don't know what that is. I think I've heard of harasha. What kind of jellies? Oh, yeah. Oh, amazing. Yum. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, I did have that once. It was delicious. We actually had it at holiday season. Yeah, it's really yummy on like crackers and stuff. Wow, that's so cool that you make them. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you give those as gifts or just like make them for like a spread of presents? Oh, well, those people are very lucky. That's awesome. I've only had it from this like little store back home. They had some and we ended up trying it. It was delicious. Very cool. Also something, and I always like to tell my classes this during the holidays. I know we're knitting today, but like if you make it like an ornament, my grandmother always put an ornament on the top of our gifts growing up. So it was part of like the decoration of the gift wrapping, but it was cute little ornament, and we had a new ornament each year, which was really nice. So that can be something fun. Maybe if you make a handmade ornament, you can add that to the top of the gift wrap for somebody. Yeah, it's a cute idea. So we'll be paper macheing ornaments at the holidays, and then also needle felting them as well. They might do some yarn ones. I'm not sure though, but yeah, it's cute. Okay. So will anybody have like a big dinner this week? Will anybody do a lot of cooking?
I'm cooking my 3rd Thanksgiving dinner this weekend and I'm so nervous. Cooking a whole turkey and stuffing and potatoes, and
Yeah.
my turkeys have turned out fine in previous years. It's just I cannot get stuffing. So if anyone has a good stuffing recipe, I would love to hear your recipes.
What do you put in your stuffing?
I just did the basics last year. Like I sauteed onions and garlic and celery and carrots, and then I added that to the stuffing with like poultry seasoning. But for some reason, it was like very, very mushy, and it was like almost a soup, and it was
Oh.
not good.
Did you
So if
saute
any,
your onions in butter first?
yes, but I think I added like I was following a recipe that called for an egg, and I feel like you don't need that. So
No, I've never done that. I
yeah.
add I do apples,
Okay.
some dried cranberries in there too. Throw some bacon or sausage in.
Ooh, that
if you
sounds
wanted to.
delicious.
It
I
kind
do
of,
sausage.
Oh, sausage? That sounds
Yeah.
really good. I never even thought of adding like sausage or meats to it.
do you stuff your turkey or do you do your stuffing on the side?
No, I just do it on the side. I'm too afraid to stuff my turkey. I don't want to give people food poisoning.
Oh, meat thermometers are a good thing.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm
Yeah.
such a novice cook that I just try to like be very basic as possible.
Yeah.
Steph said Stouffer has a good one. Yes, I agree. Like stovetop stuffing is my absolute favorite, like the one in the box.
Yeah. that one's-
Really?
It's so good, and I'm just trying to recreate that on my own, but like better, but I just can't do it. I don't know, you guys. I'm
Use,
terrible.
try some savory
Okay.
and some sage,
Okay.
and it gives it a little more flavor. And do you take your lid off a little bit or the foil off a little bit to let it dry up a bit? Or do you
No, I didn't do that last year. Should I?
Yeah. If you find it too soggy at the end, you can do it for a little bit.
Okay, I will.
But you know what? There is a great chart on, I think it was Gourmet Magazine, I want to say. And basically it said it gave you different starters. And like if you want to try different breads or you want to go more
Okay.
sweet or more savory. That's the other thing I do is I do a combination of breads and I always do my bread the day before. So it dries out a bit.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just chop it all up the day before and then put it back in the bag and then it's all set for the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to dry it in the oven the next day, or is it dry?
No. Just cut it up the day before you're going to use
Okay.
it. Make your
Okay.
stuffing. And it's a little bit drier. And don't be afraid to like try out different kinds of bread. Sometimes add some sourdough or pumpernickel or something a little more
cool.
dense. You don't just have
Okay.
to use like a local white bread or whole wheat bread or whatever you like.
Okay,
Personally,
thanks, Jennifer. That
I don't
sounds
need
great.
stuffing, but I like to try different ways to make it. I haven't
Stuffing is
had
my
complaints, so-
favorite. It's so good.
That sounds incredible.
I'm so hungry now. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. I love Thanksgiving so much. Oh, the food is so good.
My son's run request was the Costco pumpkin pie.
Oh, yes. Costco pumpkin pie is so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Emma said pancetta and apples.
Oh yeah,
that sounds
pancetta would be
beta.
fantastic too.
Yum. I feel like it's like one of those like clean slate kind of dishes where adding in different things can really make it fun, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the mixed bread idea. My mom used to do that too, which was always great. And yeah, I would do sausage and I would take the sausage out of the casing and then I would have that on the stove first and then mix it all in together.
Yeah.
Really yummy. And I love the apple idea. That would be great with the sausage too, because
yeah,
I like mixing those kind of ingredients together.
So here's a debate: fresh cranberries or tinned cranberries? Does it have to be a jelly?
Yeah, that is a debate. Fresh. We've got Emma says fresh.
I am partial to fresh. I like to add a little bit of orange juice to it, maybe some orange zest.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, my guys like it a little more tart than sweet, so
yeah,
I usually go that way.
Samantha says she does both. Wow, I'm learning so many. We didn't do much cranberry sauce. My grandfather always loved it, so we always had it on the table for him. But as I got older, I did end up liking it more and more. And I love this orange zest ingredient happening. How's everybody doing? Okay. When we get to about the 5 o'clock mark, I am going to start to show the casting off method. And just so you know how to close up your headband. And then what it would look like to take the tail and sort of sew up the end as well. Renee said, I make punch with ginger ale, frozen orange. Oh my God, fresh cranberries and cranberry juice. That sounds so good. You know those punches too that you put sherbet ice cream in? Have you ever had?
Oh, yeah, those haven't had one of those in a long time.
Right? Me too. Those are so good. Well, Renee's reminded me. V, thank you, sir. I'm going to go now. Yay, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you feel good about it. I hope to see you in another class. Have a great day.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, B. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh yeah, just with a bit of red wine. Yeah, that would be great. Bye, Kelsey. Thank you.
So my kids are all home from school now, so I have to go. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer.
This is great.
Thank you for
Smith,
being here.
thank you for organizing this. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Good luck with your
Bye.
turkey. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Is everybody getting good length so far? Looks good. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So how did everyone feel about, I know we still have time, but like, how did everyone feel about this class today? Did you feel good? Feel good that you got the hang of it? Good. Good. You should be very proud of yourselves. Can be daunting, but fun when we step into something that may seem new and different, and then we feel good when we get the hang of it. Second. That's my dog sneezing. She has sneezing attacks sometimes. This is when they're so low to the ground, like especially when she's in the grass, she'll have like a sneezing attack because she loves to put her nose in the grass, but then it tickles her nose when she's like walking around. Yes, you can. Hold on one second. She just woke up, so that's also why she was. That's Stella. She's dapple, so that's why she's all different colors. But there she is. She's about 9 pounds. Yes. She's sweet. Oh, lady. I call her my golden girl. So funny because my mom's dog, she just rescued, is like 3 and Stella's 16. And when they first met, Stella was just like not having him because he's like a Yorkie mix and he's bigger than her. And she sort of like would not growl at him, but like chase him away. At first when she was, when she first got him. And then now they just coexist so beautifully. He comes and checks on her in her bed and they eat together and they walk together and she has such a pep in her step when he's there. So it's really nice. We try to have them be together as much as possible. So in a few minutes, I'll start the cast off process just so we have enough time for me to do it just a few times so everyone can see it. Basically, casting off is, pretty much the opposite of how we've casted on. It's just a little bit different, usually done on the right-hand side of the needle. And it ends up creating a nice little braid end for us. It looks really pretty. So I'm going to start to show that. And it's, again, similar to what we've been doing in terms of bringing the stitch on to the right-hand side. And we always need, when we're casting off, two stitches on the right-hand side. So I'm going to bring these 2 over. So 1 and then 2. And once we've got the 2 here, we're gonna take the left-hand side needle and the loop that's at the end here, we're gonna take that loop and we're gonna put it over, it's a little tight now, bring it over the second loop that you made and over the needle as well. And then we've got just 1 left. And this method is going to start to build that braid and close this up for us. And I'll show that to you again. So coming through the other side, just as you would create the knit stitch, you're going to bring another stitch over, because as we're closing this up, we always need 2 over here. So then I'm going to take my needle to the back stitch here, the first one that's on this, and I'm going to bring my needle through that one, just like this. And then I'm going to move it to the top, and I'm going to loop it over that first stitch. I'm going to hold it with my finger because it's a little tight right now. And I'm going to bring it over the top of that right hand needle. And then I'm going to pull it tight. And again, I don't know if you can kind of see that braid starting to happen there. And I'm going to do that until I get all the way down. So again, coming through as a regular knit stitch, bringing this stitch over. So now I've got 2 over here, coming here in the back and taking the last loop on the right hand side with the left hand side needle, just the end. So kind of nudge in there like that. And you can pull it a little bit because you want to bring it over top of the first stitch on this side and over top of the tip of the needle, and then let it go. And then you can pull it tight. And that's starting to build that braid end there. And I'm just going to continue that. Again, only 2 stitches need to be on the right hand side. So again, brought one over like a regular knit stitch, came here in the back, put my needle through that back loop, brought it up a little bit, slide it all the way up. So you bring that loop around the tip of the needle and then down and let it go. And then pull it tight. And I just want to show you, just flipping it on the other side, see how that braid is closing up the end of my little square here. Again, you'll do this once you get the length of your headband, but you can see that this is a cast off. So this casting off is creating this beautiful little edge. Is that making sense for everyone? Okay, I'm going to continue to do it just in case anyone else may have missed it. But again, coming through like a regular knit stitch from the right hand side. And bringing it over. Two loops, going with the left hand side end of the needle into the back loop and kind of nudging it right through that loop, sliding it up to bring that loop over top of the right tip needle and then down and letting it go and then pulling tight. And we'll do this until we get all the way down to the end. And then I'll show you how we're going to sew up the end, which is very easy to do. And you'll do that with your tapestry needle that if you have it today, great. If you don't, you can always get one at craft store. Sometimes tapestry needles look like the same as bookbinding needles. I don't know if anybody does any. I make zines and such, and similar to that type of needle.
We sent out these plastic tapestry needles, Sarah. I don't know if they would work.
Yep, that's right. I forgot you said
Okay.
that. Yeah, perfect. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You should have gotten one of these needles in your packages, folks.
Yep. Oops. Oops. There we go. Okay. Some of my loops came undone for a second. I love this braided end that we end up making by casting off and on, because I think it's like a really nice finish to your project. Make sure when you're casting off, you are pulling tight after you've done the cast off stitch, just so that you can really start to see the braid, and then none of your loops come undone as you're completing it. Keeps it all nice and tidy. Okay, so once you get to the end, just gonna pull tight. And you've got now this last little loop after you have completed the braid, the casting off of the braid here, and you've got this little loop. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna use that tail that you have. And basically, obviously, if this was longer, it wouldn't be this small, but you're basically gonna take this tail and you're going to put end to end, just like this, and you're gonna sew up this end with this tail, and I'll show you what I mean. leaving this loop at the end that you went the casting off, the last part, because that's going to be our last tie at the end. So basically you're going to take your tapestry needle and thread your yarn through. You can twist it a little bit if you need to get it through that hole. Ooh, I heard a kitty cat. Is that a kitty cat? Okay, so I put the needle through and you're just gonna come through the braided part of the cast off. And basically by threading right through that end, you're gonna pull the tail through and that's gonna help you start to have the piece all together. And you're just gonna go back and forth with your big needle to close up the end here. And that's why this tail part is really important to have at a good length, so that it allows you to have a good amount to work with. Again, you can always cut off, you know, you can't add on obviously, but you're just gonna close it up just like this. Very easy. Go to get to the end. Obviously your piece will be bigger. And when you get to the end, I'm almost there. You're going to knot the end with that extra last loop that you have from the casting off. And you can go right through this loop. Pull tight. And then also pull your headband. A little pull out there, but that's okay. Just pull it, bring it together and pull it out so that it connects really well there. And then just go in and make a sewing knot. Loop through your piece. Create a loop. A couple of times. And then go through again and then knot it. And then you can cut off this excess. And then also the rest of the tail of whatever's left. Cut that right off. And you've got a fun little headband. You can also tighten this a little more so you don't have such an end there, but I wanted you to be able to really kind of see it. And you've got a fun little headband. Does that make sense for everyone? Pretty easy at the end, right? Just kind of using the tail to sew up everything, and then and the cast off method, which is just basically doing it in reverse, which is great. And then you can see that nice braid there at the end. So yeah,
That's so cute, Sarah.
oh,
I love it. It's so cute.
it is. I mean, it's super, obviously it is like super small.
No, but I love it. It's so
But
cute. It's perfect for Stella.
Yeah, right.
Like
It
a
is.
little scarf.
Yeah, it is perfect for Stella. Yeah, this could cute little scarf for her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
you
so
guys
cute.
you get the idea, and obviously the longer you go, which is wonderful. And then also if you do a scarf and you can end it at the end with just the cast off, you know, not bringing it, not having to sew it together. You're sewing it together because you're making the headband, but if you're just maybe like here, say you're just ending a scarf, just do a cast off and then it'll be a beautiful braided end for you, as opposed to closing it up. But yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful, Sarah. So is anyone brave enough to show off their halfway or completely finished product? I'm certainly not. So, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Olivia,
That was amazing.
that
that
is
was awesome.
incredible. Good job, Kara. I see yours.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
Steph.
I love it.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
Yeah.
That is super, super awesome.
They're amazing, guys. They're so good. You should.
Good job, everyone. You should be so proud of yourselves.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. So awesome.
Oh, good job, you guys. Steph says, but my fingers are cramping. LOL.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
stretch your fingers, take a
Yeah.
break.
Definitely stretch your fingers. Does anybody, you feel like you'll continue to knit? I know, Renee, you said you would. Yeah, Olivia, awesome. Steph, cool.
Yes, definitely continue, folks, because obviously practice makes progress, and I certainly need a lot more practice, but that taught me the fundamentals. So I think I have a good basic idea now where I can take it and hopefully end up with something that is usable one day.
Awesome.
Sarah, is there anything you wanted to end with before we wrap up today?
Just that, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I really loved spending this time with you and helping you refresh skills or learn new skills. My info's in the chat. I'm just gonna add it one more time down here so you guys have it in case you want to reach out, post your work. Definitely tag Craft Jam and I if you do post your work, which would be lovely. Even if it's not done yet, I still would love to see it. Everyone's looks so good. I'm so proud of you. So thank you so much. Samantha, thank you for having me.
That was so much fun, you guys. I'm so like calm now. I could go take a nap. I feel very relaxed and very soothed. So thank you so much, Sarah. That was so much fun.
Of course.
And thank you so much, everybody who came to this today. It was such a pleasure meeting you all. And again, like I've said a couple of times, we have tons of events happening throughout the year, all free for you folks. So I hope to see you again at another event. We will definitely be doing more events with Sarah and Craft Jam. So please stay tuned for those. And yeah, folks, have a great rest of your evening and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.